Well, hello and welcome to Wednesday. It's good to see everybody. Hope you guys are having a great week and looking forward to seeing you guys all soon in person, although I'm enjoying at least getting to spend a little bit of time with you this way. I have a number of things we'll cover today. First of all, just a reminder, Zoom youth group, Sunday night, 5 o'clock, regular youth group time. And I know you guys are probably all getting sick of Zoom and all the stuff that you're going to do for your classes on Schoology and all this kind of social gathering that we're doing online. And I know it's not meeting in person, but at least it gives us a chance to connect with each other. And so I hope you'll join us Sunday night. And we'll do that at 5 o'clock. Bring your own food. Can't cook and serve it that way, but it'll be curious to see what everybody's eating and snacking on when we get together at 5 o'clock Sunday night. If you need the meeting ID, that'll come out in an email on Friday, so be looking for that. Also, we're continuing to play Family Feud, and everybody's chasing Sherry and Ryan. And so if you want to get in on that, keep looking for that on our Facebook page. And we're having a good time with that, so we'll see who wins the big prize this week. Also want to mention that this is Wednesday, and so we've got something new coming up tonight at 6:35, as we are going to have Refresh Wednesdays with Will. And so our own Will Harris will be sharing with us tonight, and he's got a word for us, and I'm looking forward to that, and I hope you are too. So be sure and check back with us tonight at 6:35 for that. Let's see, parents, just want to remind you, if you haven't opened your emails yet from yesterday, we did send out the latest parent page from CPYU, the Center for Parent Youth Understanding, and they had a great article yesterday on teens and sleep during this time and how important it is. So I hope you'll get a chance to read that, and I hope you guys are all doing your family table talk as that comes in each day, and we'll continue to send that out daily during the 28 days of that series. And so we've made it now through 10 days, and tonight will be night 11, and so the day 11 devotional will be coming out sometime later this morning, and we'll send it your way this afternoon. Now, our question for today is, how long do you think a blizzard treat can stay upside down? And the follow-up question is, how long can you stay upside down? Now, as far as the second question, how long can I stay upside down? Probably only as long as it takes for gravity to flip me back over. I'm not into that. I'm not able to do that. I don't mind being upside down in a roller coaster, but other than doing that, that's about it. But for the first question, how long can a blizzard treat stay upside down? That's a good question. I'd like to know. But I can tell you how long it can't stay upside down. Several years ago, we were on a mission trip to St. Louis, and before we left, Mr. Jim Carpenter, who worked with our youth for a long time, and gave us this place to go to called Ted Drew's. It's an ice cream place out in St. Louis, and it's legendary. And their big thing at Ted Drew's is a thing called concretes. Now, concretes were the forerunner to blizzards. It's the same thing, just with a different name. And so we go out there on a day when it's like 104 degrees, and everybody gets a concrete. And so they do the same thing they do at Dairy Queen, where they flip them upside down, and then they hand them to you, and the spoon, of course, is sticking out the bottom. And so we're standing in the parking lot, and we're all eating our concretes and enjoying it. And one of the girls on the trip says, "This is such a cool thing. I love how you can take it upside down, or turn it upside down, and it stays in the cup." And she goes, "Like this." Well, of course, it had been out in the 104 degrees now for about 3 to 5 minutes, and it immediately drops out of the cup and right into her hand, running through her fingers down on the parking lot. She's trying to shove it back in and lick her hands, and trying to do everything she can to save as much of it as possible. And the rest of us all got a great laugh out of it. But it goes to show you, don't wait too long and then turn it upside down. So it can't last 3 to 5 minutes, especially if it's 104 degrees. So enjoy it while it's upside down at the beginning, but then go ahead and eat it, because that's what it was intended for. But let us know how long you think it can stay upside down, and we'll see. Maybe we'll do a test some night at youth group where we'll take one and turn it upside down and see what happens. Now today I want to talk about a subject that we see in Scripture, but we don't really have a real good understanding about, and I know I sure don't have a real good understanding about, and that's angels. What do angels look like? What do angels do? Angels are messengers of God. They do God's work. And I don't have a full comprehension of what they're all about. And people go, "Well, do you believe in angels?" Yeah. But, well, how do you know they're there? And so I just want to share a couple stories with you today that maybe angels, maybe God using something else, but they've really kind of, the only way I can explain them is that God has sent angels. The first one, we were on a mission trip. We're headed to Benton Harbor, Michigan. And we had 3 vehicles in a caravan, and I'm driving the lead vehicle, which was the cargo van. And it was a rainy day, and it was getting close to rush hour in this town in Michigan. And we're driving on a Michigan State Highway, and we get off the highway onto an on-ramp to get onto an interstate. And we're only going to be going about a mile or 2 until we get off to where we're staying. But as we pull onto the interstate, suddenly a car in front of me slammed on their brakes. Well, I quick hit my brakes, and because it's raining and the road's wet, the van I'm driving begins to hydroplane and spin. And so I go from the on-ramp, spinning across the right lane, then into the center lane, then into the left lane, and trying to correct. The van goes on 2 wheels for a second and drops back down, but now it spins the other way, back across the center lane, back across the right lane, and finally comes to a stop. So, take a deep breath. The other van stopped to see if we're okay. And that night at devotions, one of the kids, as we were talking about what had happened, said, you know, the whole thing was like God just put his hand down and stopped traffic so that you could do your little spinny thing on the highway and then get off the road. And somebody else said, yeah, that when we were in the right lane, there were cars flying by in the left. When we were in the center lane and the left lane, there were cars going by on the right. When we started to spin back the other way, the cars were flying by on the left. And when we got off the road, traffic was flying like nothing had ever happened. And somebody said, well, that was obviously God sending his angels to watch over us. And I don't have any better explanation for that. I can't explain the whole mechanism of what went on with the steering and all of that. All I know is that God got us safely through that. And we were on the way to a mission trip that would have an incredible impact on everybody's life who was there. We had a terrific team that was assembled. We worked on some incredible projects that were a part of the mission trip. We worked above and beyond. We were still working the day after everybody had been sent, or the day that everybody had sent home. Everybody's leaving town and we're going back to work. So it had an impact on us. It had an impact on the residents of the city that we worked for. It had an effect on the entire city. And so we knew God was at work. And I really, truly believe that God sent an angel that day, or a group of angels, to steer traffic while that happened. The other time, I was getting ready, or I was between jobs. And so I was working at a summer camp and looking for a youth ministry job. And I had applied for a position in central Pennsylvania in a little town called Lewisburg. And when I went for an interview, I got off the main highway, turned into town, and immediately I just felt like a voice said, this is it. And I took a deep breath, I'm like, okay, drove around town, met with the pastor briefly, went back to where I was staying for the night, sent Deb a note. We were engaged to be married, hadn't been married yet, and I said, this is it, I just feel it, this is going to be home. And did the interview, everything went smoothly, and I got the job. And so when I got the job, it was like God, or Satan's at work trying to mess me up, and I got a flat tire on my way to my first service. I was coming from a funeral for Deb's grandfather in Ohio, driving across the state, get a flat tire. And so on the day I'm to be introduced, I'm late for church. But I walk in the middle of the service, and it all worked out well. But on my first day, around lunchtime, I decided to take a walk around town, see what would be good for lunch, and see what all the options were in this new town for me. And as I'm walking up the street, I see a man walking toward me dressed all in white. White long pants, white boots, a white shirt. He had a white cowboy hat on. I'm like, well, that's kind of strange. And so as I approached him, he took his hat off and he said, good day, Mr. Bowers, welcome. And he put his hat back on and just kept on walking. I'm like, well, how does he know who I am? I just got here. He wasn't somebody from the committee. And so I started asking people around town if they knew the guy who dressed in all white. And people looked at me like I was crazy. Nobody had ever seen this guy that I'm talking about. And so somebody said, it's your guardian angel, just letting you know that it's okay. And you know what? I think they were right. I think that was just God's way of saying, we've got you while you're here. You're in the right place. We're going to take good care of you. I'm going to take good care of you. And so that's where Deb and I began our marriage, and we had 5 wonderful years there. So God has his angels out there. He's watching over us. And so hang on to that and remember that. I love you guys. Check in tonight at 6:35 to be with Will, and have a great day.